What's up, guys? We're back at it with another jam-packed episode of Hashtag Focus Fridays. Yes, sir. We're back at it with another jam-packed episode of Hashtag Focus Fridays. If you're a returning subscriber, shout out to you. You're most definitely loved. Much love to you too as well. Shout out to you for subscribing in the first place. Hope you've been enjoying the other episodes, and hopefully you're gonna enjoy this episode. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and also shout out to the new subscribers or the new viewers. Basically, there's just a little red button down there that I'd like you to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified next time we drop an episode. Beggy. Yes sir. Anyway, my name is Steezy. We're back at it with another episode of Hashtag Focus Fridays, and well, today I'd like to get straight down to business. Then I think everything has been taken care of. Shout out to you if you watched the previous episode. If you haven't watched the previous episode, I think I'm gonna drop a link down either, probably this corner, most probably, whatever. Just watch the previous episode when you're done with this, of course. Anyway, I'd like to get straight down into business today. I'm talking about today we're talking about Ama Crystals, basically, who is a local creative, basically based in Eswatini in the country, and basically she's an artist, like a female. I'd call her a female artist. I wouldn't call her necessarily a female rapper, as some people would say, but I'd call her a female artist, who resides in Eswatini currently. She's a local, and basically with Ama Crystals, I feel like she's one of the artists that hold a special place in my heart. She's one of basically the underground artists that people don't talk about, like the ones that like completely, like you don't really get down into mostly talking about them most of the time, but as most people would like to say, most of the time they would say, like, honestly speaking, one of the most underrated artists are actually very talented. So in my sense, I feel like she's very talented. She basically knows I feel like right now she's at the phase of experimenting more than anything else, because even before recording this episode, I was listening to her latest singles, like I think 4 latest singles on SoundCloud. Of course, I stand to be corrected. Very, very beautiful discography, and at that point when listening to all that, very talented person. Obviously, you don't get to talk about a lot of female artists, especially when we talk about female artists who actually can rap, you know what I mean? Literally, listening to that was just like, wow, really nice to listen to that. It was a really nice listening session that I had before recording. But initially, I don't know, I'd like to get down to her journey, basically how I got to listen to her music. I feel like initially she's always had a knack for music. At first I feel like at that point, when you're watching someone that's basically close to you at the same time not close to you, she I think, if I'm not mistaken, she's gonna correct me on that, she started writing poems. After writing poems, she's well into art, obviously, so drawing poems was mostly her thing, and then eventually she got down into music, right? And I think the first time I feel like she launched her music career, I had never listened to her at the time. The first time I actually listened to her was the time where the New Black mixtape by, I think, Savage and Azoo, which is like a duo that I once talked about back in the old days. I think this is a duo I talked about last year, right? Savage and Azoo, and I was talking about that project New Black, right? And the track, there was a certain track that she was featured on. I think it's the outro, if I'm not mistaken. Is it the outro? But I think it's the outro. It's the outro. But on the outro, she was featured on the outro of that song, and initially that song was really dope, bro. Like that song was out of this world, right? And in as much as that song, I'm not sure if I remember the exact sound of the song, but I feel like there was a bit of a transition on the song where she then hopped onto it and then she did her thing, right? And that was the big reveal, like boom, like really, like she can actually she can actually do music. I mean, she can actually go through with this music thing, right? And that was the big woo-ha, right? And for me, it was in fact, on my personal perspective, it was basically the big woo-ha, because that was when you were like, okay, she can actually do this, you know what I mean? So initially, I think I even talked about that song specifically, and I was really taken by the transition from Savage Zoo, the duo, very talented duo, by the way, and the transition from that duo into Crystals, who actually just completely, actually, in my sense, I think she completely bodied it, and that's what I think she did there, on that outro. That was like literally the first time I ever listened to her, and I was just like, wow, she can actually go through with this music thing, right? And at that time, I didn't feel like she really wanted to get down with this music thing. I mean, obviously, when you're not really in touch with the person that much, you like get to not know what they're planning on doing when it comes to their talents, right? So for me, it was like, okay, I feel like she could really go through with this music thing, but is she gonna go through with this music thing? You know what I mean? So that was the whole question, until I think a few months after that. That's when the Spread Love EP by Me Time came through, and I was just, hey, you talk about the Spread Love EP, guys. Like, we all know what the Spread Love EP did at that time. We all know that, you know what I mean? So what the Spread Love EP did was just out of this world. I mean, you featured really talented guys. I mean, can you imagine having Abel Kane, RK, Sam Dynasty, Crystals in one project? That was just surprising, right? And obviously on that EP, Crystals was featured on one song, which is January. Funny enough, January, February, March. that was actually a dope concept, by the way. And she was on January, right? And January, I think I was at a time, I remember that song, especially January, on that Spread Love EP. I think I was even at a time where I could sort of relate to the message that Abel Kane was basically conveying in that song. Abel Kane was really good on that song, like, don't get me wrong, but once we get down into of course, we're not talking about Abel Kane this week, we're talking about Crystals, right? And basically, I don't want to say all the credit goes to Crystals, of course, but obviously all the credit goes to, some of the credit also goes to Abel Kane and Me Time, who produced the whole thing, right? And you look at that song was really a beautiful song. And Lulu, Crystal's verse, Crystal's verse on that song was really good. It was something out of this world, basically. It was really crazy, because that was just when I was like, wow, okay, we're coming around with something, right? And really, what I took from listening to that song when it actually came out was like, she actually sounds out of, like, literally this world. I think I say that a lot these days. But to me, she sounded like she's out of this world. So she kind of sounded like she was doing this for quite a while, right? And she kind of sounded like she's literally not from this country. Like, she sounded like an international artist from somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, okay, who is she? Is that Crystals right there? Like literally, you'd ask yourself that question. You're just like, wow, okay, that's a really dope song, right? And you're just like, wow, that's a good thing as well, because you're like coming back down to the basics of the fact that, especially when an artist sounds a bit international, that's when you really know they have it in the bag. If they can actually take it seriously, that's when you know that an artist actually has their talent in the bag. Because most of the time, you get a lot of artists who I've been giving this lesson for the past year now. So initially, it still sticks to be the same one and the same thing. You get these artists who, obviously you're like, okay, yeah, you're gonna listen, and then it sounds like I'm listening to a Kendrick Lamar wannabe. I'm listening to a Drake wannabe. I'm listening to an AKA wannabe. I'm listening to a Nasty C wannabe. So that kind of gets boring. But when an artist starts to embrace their own sound and starts to take in the fact that they can actually do something really nice with whatever they have inside them, instead of you can draw inspiration, right? That's totally different. But one thing I can tell you is that there's a difference between inspiration and trying to be someone else, right? So I feel like that's where some artists get it wrong, where you're just like, you're listening to a song, okay, yeah, it could be nice, or it is actually nice, but it would have been really nicer, especially when you listen to the potential. You think, okay, it could have been really nicer if this person wasn't trying to be someone else, right? And at this point, most of the time, I feel like, wow, okay, I feel like I'm a Crystals right now has it in the bag when it comes to being a female artist, not only a female rapper, because I was listening to her songs right now, and I mean, you go back to January, you're gonna go back to that verse, go listen to Me Times Spread Love EP, bro, like especially the first quarter, just oh my god, I'm a Crystals verse on that one was just out of this world. Like, on my sense, it was just too much, you know what I mean? So obviously you're gonna look at that and you're just like, wow, I feel like she could literally be on the forefront of female artists in the country, you know what I mean? And basically kudos to her, because I mean, man, I'm literally taken by storm by her talent most of the time, you know what I mean? And every time I listen to it, there's just this is something different that you get out of each and every song that you listen to, right? Which is definitely going to lead me to the 4 latest songs that she released, the 4 latest songs that she released, which was, I think, in October, if I'm not mistaken. She released a song called The Porch, just to quickly talk about that song, I actually listened to this song before I actually recorded, so I think it's a cheat code. But when I listen to the song right now, like, literally really dope song, by the way, and obviously I'm listening to the song, I'm literally in my room, right? So I want you guys to picture this, right? So I'm in my room, I'm listening to the song. It's called The Porch. It's produced by Phantom and SIK, or Sick. Not sure. I'm gonna butcher that. But initially, I listened to that song, right? And you're just like, okay, that's a really dope song, right? And it's just really nice song. But picture this. I'm listening to the song. I'm in my bedroom, and I'm alone, obviously. I'm about to record an episode. And literally, when listening to the song, it's not a hip hop song. It's not a rap song. It's not anything like that, right? Initially, the roots of the song is pop, but for me, I don't think it's pop, because when I listen to the song, I think it gave me some sort of vibe, or some sort of vibrancy around me listening to it, right? It then goes back to I'm a Crystals sounding like an international artist. You know what I mean? So you look at that song, you're like, wow, okay, that's a really dope song, right? And you're gonna look at the fact that that song was just really nice to listen to. You know what I mean? It was basically, for me, on my personal perspective, it was basically a song that I could listen to if I'm like literally alone, and like literally the lights are off, and I'm in a dark room, obviously, and you're just listening to the song at a soft volume. It's literally gonna be a vibe, right? It's either that vibe, or when you're driving down, when you're alone as well, you're gonna play that song. It's also a really nice song, you know what I mean? That's why I was just like, I feel like she could be on the forefront, because I mean, this song was just out of this world. I can't even describe it in words, right? Because I've never listened to a song like this from a local artist. Best believe. Give me a local artist who has ever produced a song like The Porch. You're gonna listen to that song. Go listen to that song. Let me know who is a local artist that could ever sound like that. That could ever have a sound so out of this world, so unique and so beautiful, and such a good feeling that comes out of such a good song, right? And most of the time we listen to songs and we want to vibe. Of course, you always want to vibe, but sometimes you just get a good feeling out of just listening to a song. And that for me this time around was just like, okay, I get it now. I get it now, you know what I mean? So obviously I listened to The Porch, a really good song. I listened to Star Signs, there she was literally going off. She was literally going off. She was literally dropping bars and everything, and she was basically showing the rapper side of her, of herself, basically. And then also there was I think Star Signs goes together on the same caliber as IC, because initially, even that song, she was literally going off and like literally showing what she could do with her talent, and literally being the artist that she is, very talented, very good, and literally showed that talent through that song as well. Very good production on that. Shout out to RK for producing both songs. I think I saw his name on both the songs as well, as the producer credits. So big shout out to RK and the other producers who helped put these two songs together, because these were really good songs, and really talented person to get on those songs as well. You know what I mean? So obviously those were really good songs. And then I think there was the latest song, lastly, just to wrap up this part of the show. It was Venus. So this is indie music, right? For me, Venus was a really good song as well. In fact, the song Venus is the song that actually brought me to when I said she's actually on the experimental side of things right now more than anything else. Because I listened to Venus, I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Out of this world as well. Definitely unique. She takes, with Ama Crystals, I feel like she takes a different direction each time she makes a song. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying right now that it would actually be more interesting right now more than ever to actually have a project from her. Word on the streets, I'm not gonna tell you what the word on the streets is, because I did hear she's busy. She's quite busy, so with that, I'm gonna just keep it at that, and let her deal with that as time goes. So in as much as, yes, she's quite busy, producing something, you know what I mean? I'm saying literally, it would be the best time to hear a project from her, because I feel like every time she produces a song, there's always a different side of things when it comes to the character that she portrays. You're not only experiencing a song when listening to Ama Crystals. Just to finish up, you're experiencing a person. So basically, you're experiencing who she is more than what the song means, and literally that's a whole different ball game. That's the same thing I felt about when I listened to Amari's first EP, which was Throwaways from the Other Side. I said the same thing. I was like, I got to experience more of Amari than experiencing the EP itself. And with Ama Crystals as well, I feel like now we're dabbling into the same thing, which is like you're experiencing more of the person behind the production instead of the production itself. And most of the time you can be on the forefront of a production, and the production can be very good, but is the production really useful if I'm not really taking something that tells me about you? No. No. You know what I mean? So that's literally how that took place, and that was really good. That was very dope. Shout out to Ama Crystals for this. Really can't wait for that project. I can't wait for that. Just to dabble around that, and yeah, man, we'll get to talk about the project when it comes. Otherwise, all the best for Ama Crystals at this point. Really talented person. If you haven't listened to her, if you don't know her, I suggest you go listen to her right now. I think I'm gonna drop her link to her SoundCloud down in the link in the description, and yeah, man, go listen to that. Really dope project. Really dope project that it would be, if it would come out. When it comes out, it's going to be a dope project, because I really can't wait to see what her talents can do for her, especially when she reaches her full potential, because right now she's literally going off and literally experimenting more of what she can do with her talents, right? And moving right along, shout out to everybody who went to Epic Gig. Um, I'd just like to get into what people complained about on Monday. I was on Twitter. I'm not normally on Twitter, but now I was literally on Twitter on Monday on a random day. Trying to check out what happened on Epic Gig and everything like that. And I found a couple of tweets. People complaining that promoters are undermining local talent, right? And I'm not basing this on Epic Gig most of the time. I'm literally basing this on promoters actually exploiting local talent. Of course there are allegations where people are saying that maybe Epic Gig has a hand in it. What happened this weekend, maybe some artists didn't get paid. That's none of my business, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't know what transpired, I don't know what happened, but what we know what happens is literally promoters exploiting local talent for the past, I don't know how many months, literally months and months on end. People have been complaining about promoters exploiting local talent, and literally it gets tiring most of the time, where you're just like, okay, what are they looking for when they do this? I mean, you undermine such great talent in the country. We've got really talented people, we've got really talented kids, and most of the time, I think we had this conversation with Mlondi a few weeks back to say, literally, this is what promoters do. And right now, I feel like this thing has been normalized too much, to a point where now I think most of the time I feel like artists need to come together and literally form a little boundary to say, okay, if you don't sign, or if you don't pay us certain such and such amount by this time, this is what's gonna happen. Or literally, I don't know, be in agreement with the promoter as to how you could actually get paid for actually coming to the gig and performing as well. Because I mean, that's already, we're talking about, that's already a big expense. Going to the gig itself is an expense, you know what I mean? Not talking about being at the gig until you perform, that's another expense as well. So then again, you as an artist, I feel like those are things that really need to be looked into, as we had this conversation last week when we talk about royalties and all that. These are also other things that I feel like need to be taken seriously in the country, and I feel like at this point it's getting a little bit too much, because promoters are really not taking our talent that seriously, you know what I mean? Because they feel like most artists who are important, right, are from the country next to us, right? And you're like, that's really not true, because I mean, some of the artists are really talented. Right now, I'm about to do an ultimate lineup, you know what I mean? And 80% of that lineup are people that are from this country, very talented people, and literally a gig would be packed because of the people I'm about to mention, you know what I mean? So then again, you look at that, you're like, there are people that are on the forefront that need to be helping, that are actually not helping local artists. And that's another thing that needs to be another conversation, right? Initially, I'm just at a point where I'm just like, I'm not in the correct power to be saying these things, but actually I'm mentioning this so that there's an actual conversation around all these things, where you're just like, there needs to be a conversation where you're just like, artists need to talk about this, and artists need to form a bridge between themselves and amongst themselves. And because the problem in our country most of the time is that our industry is not so united, which is why the outsiders, or the people outside that that little bubble of our talent in the entertainment industry, that's how the people can actually take advantage of us one by one, right? That's basically how that happens. So basically, I feel like these are conversations that need to be had. We can complain to some degree, but we could stop complaining and actually start acting towards what we don't want to happen. Take a stand and be like, we don't want this to happen anymore. You know what I mean? It's been happening a lot too much, and most artists need to get what they deserve, especially when they put their talent out and they actually make your crowd happy about it. I mean, it's a win-win situation, you know what I mean? The promoters win because they brought an artist who actually made the crowd happy, and the artist actually got himself out there, because once I'm happy watching an artist, I'm gonna watch an artist like Ama Crystals up there, and I don't know who Ama Crystals is, and she's actually literally performing in a very good way. She's connecting with me as the person in the crowd. I'm definitely gonna go on my phone after that, and I'm gonna be like, okay, who's Ama Crystals, right? It's another win-win situation, right? And on the other part as well, if I enjoy the gig, I'm gonna come back again the next time it goes around. So then again, we need to have these conversations as artists. Artists need to have these conversations on their own, and I feel like artists are not uniting enough, which is what leads to all these things happening at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So then again, these are conversations that need to be had. And yeah, man, I think that's gonna be it right now. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna talk about, okay, I'm not gonna talk about anything, but before we get into the evolution lineup, I'm gonna come up with the ultimate lineup, right? I think I cheated. I had already had a lineup, but obviously, you know, I lost that lineup, but now I have a new one. So on an ultimate lineup, I would have DJ Melzi, DJ Maporisa, I'd have Kabza the Small, which is pretty ambitious. I'd have RK, I'd have DJ SMK, DJ SMK, you know what I mean? I'd have 2 Billion, Wordsmith, Felix, you know, very good DJ. I'd have Ama Crystals, I'd have Swanilo, I'd have Mad Uno, you know what I mean? We were talking about him last week. I'd have DJ Expo, I'd have Lady Z, I'd have DJ Tap, and lastly, I would have Amari. So just to stretch it on over here, initially as a surprise act on this lineup, who would I have? Who's the only surprise act we'd have on an ultimate lineup? Uncle Waffles. I mean, tell me about who wouldn't want to come to this type of gig, you know what I mean? But anyway, you guys will let me know what you think in the comment section. You know, if I'm butchering it, amen, that's my lineup, you know what I mean? Whether you want to come or you don't want to come, that's on you. That's on you. Talking about lineups, we've got Evolution coming up this weekend, and they're gonna be having Uncle Vinny and Yumbs. So initially they're gonna have Uncle Vinny, Yumbs, and Sandy, Aya City, DJ Stig, they're gonna have DJ 2 Billion, they're gonna have DJ Sean, DJ SMK, DJ Pepsi, DJ Capsule, they're gonna have I'm butchering it. They're gonna have Rico Swerve, they're gonna have Raid Rhapsodus, and a whole lot more, I'm guessing. So initially, shout out to Evolution this weekend coming up. Make sure you enjoy safely. Shout out to Uncle Vinny finally pulling up. And yeah, man, shout out to Evolution. Shout out to the guys at Evolution, really growing. I mean, they're the guys who brought DJ Melzi to the country 2 times. So that's really dope, man. Shout out to Evolution. Everyone who's going to Evolution, make sure you enjoy and be safe out there. You know what I mean? Anyway, this brings us to a close for this episode. Shout out to you if you've reached this far. I'd like you to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified next time we drop another episode. Bekele Beke, as you know how it happens, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, this has been your boy Steezy, and this has been Focus Fridays. See you next week, same time, same place. Boom.